In this video, you're going to learn how to set up whatever space you have, whether it be a bedroom like mine or a big studio, so you can have a perfect green screen effect, an effect that's easy to pull off in the editing station every time. I'm going to show you where to stand, what kind of lighting to get, what kind of backdrop to get, and I'm going to show you the settings on the lens that you want to have a perfect green screen effect every time. So you'll go from having a boring green backdrop to this in no time flat. Okay, so let's talk about the backdrop. This backdrop, it's a non-reflective material, and this is the reason why it's good to buy something specifically for green screen effects. If you have a reflective material, then the light's going to bounce off it and it's going to be cast onto you, and that's going to create an effect called spill, which makes it harder to pull off the effect properly. So you want non-reflective. You want to get it as high as you possibly can. I actually have a bar hung to my ceiling with pipe hangers to get it as high as I can. And it's a good idea if you have a steamer, something that you can steam this with to get as much of the wrinkles out as possible, because more wrinkles makes it difficult to get a proper effect. So you're going to want a big backdrop. The bigger the better, so that way you can just move your arms and stretch out without going outside the backdrop. You want to get it as high as you can so you don't have your head cut off, and you want to be able to steam it to get the wrinkles out of it, and non-reflective material is what you're looking for. And I have a link in the video description that will get you a backdrop just like this. That'll be perfect for green screen effects. As for where to stand when doing a green screen effect, you don't want to be that close to the backdrop, because if you are, you're going to get an effect called spill, which is when the light bounces off the backdrop and is cast onto you. And that will make it so you have blurry edges. You actually want to stand as far away from the backdrop as you can. You really want distance between you and the backdrop for a couple of reasons. Number one, the spill effect that we just talked about. And number two, something we'll talk about later, is you can do some camera tricks with the lens that will make it easier to pull off the effect in the end if you're standing far away from it. If you have windows, then you're going to want to close them, because the light from the windows is going to mess up the lighting that you have for your green screen, particularly if it's sunny out. Today it's cloudy. But if it's sunny, the sun is a very hard lighting source, and that will produce all kinds of problems for your green screen effect. So you definitely want to close the blinds or close the curtains for all the windows in the room. In fact, if you have a ceiling light or some other lighting source, you're going to want to shut that off too. So what the heck do you use for lighting? You're going to want at least 2 lights, but preferably 3. You need 1 light on each side to illuminate just the background, and you want to be standing in front of those lights. If you're standing behind them, then you're going to be casting shadows onto the green screen. And the goal is to minimize or eliminate the amount of shadows that you're casting onto the green screen. You want it to be evenly lit. So you need 2 soft lights on each side, and preferably a soft light behind the camera illuminating you or to the side of the camera. And you can even use a 4th light on the ceiling, mounted to the ceiling or to the floor, called a backlight, which will actually light the back of you, which helps to minimize that spill effect that we talked about earlier. That's a 4-point lighting system. But a 3-point lighting system is plenty for most green screen setups. So get a kit with at least 3 lights, like the one I have in the video description. It has 4 actually. And let's go over the difference between hard light and soft light. This is an umbrella light. It produces soft lighting. The light goes through this white umbrella and it makes it more diffuse. So that way it doesn't cast as many shadows as a hard lighting source like the sun or the lamp you probably have in your living room. The whole concept of soft lights is to eliminate shadows by making even lighting. And that's what you have to have for a green screen effect. So you're either going to want an umbrella light like this or something called a soft box light, which has a box that goes over the lighting source with the white front plate, just like this umbrella. So that way it diffuses the light. So make sure you have soft lighting, no hard lighting at all for a green screen effect. Now, a second ago, we were talking about hard light versus soft light. I have a torch light in my hand right now. And this is the difference. Look at the shadows that this hard light produces. I mean, you could do shadow puppets with this. This will absolutely ruin your green screen effect. You cannot possibly pull off a good effect if you're producing hard shadows like this. And the sunlight, for example, is a very hard lighting source. If you've ever gone outside on a sunny day, which I hope you have, I'm sure you've noticed that everything casts hard shadows on the ground. Well, that's awful lighting for a green screen. But on a cloudy day is actually perfect lighting. In fact, if you had a cloudy, overcast day, you could set up your green screen outside with no additional lights at all, and it would produce perfect lighting because the cloudy days don't produce any shadows. And that's really how you tell the difference between hard and soft lights. If you have shadows, you have hard lights, and that's no good. If you don't have shadows, then you have soft lights, and that's perfect. So if you have a DSLR camera, particularly one that gives you control over the lens, then you're going to want to use it. See, right now I have my favorite party game set up as the backdrop, Cards Against Humanity. It's the best thing I had available. So right now I have a lens that lets me control the f-stop on the camera. And this is hugely important because right now I'm going to show you the difference between having it set at a high f-stop like f32 versus a low one. See, right now it's set at f32. This is as high as it'll go. The lens is as closed down as possible. And this gives the lens a big depth of field. It means that everything is in focus at once. The Cards Against Humanity game is in focus, and the backdrop is also in focus. But this is not a good thing, because if the backdrop is in focus, you can see all the imperfections, you can see all the wrinkles, it all shows up. And you don't want that. So what you want to do actually is you want to open the lens up by adjusting the f-stop to bring it down. This is going to blow the image up because it opens the lens up. So we're going to have to bring the ISO down. We'll have to increase the shutter speed, for instance. But if I open the lens up, now I refocus, now you're going to notice something. The backdrop is blurry. And this is perfect because a blurry backdrop, it's not going to show all the imperfections in it. It's not going to show all the wrinkles. It makes it way easier for you to pull off a good effect if you have a DSLR camera that lets you adjust the settings on the lens. If you can bring the f-stop down to a low setting like f2.8, f3.5 or so, then do that because it'll make it much better looking just as it is now. Well, there you have it. That's the video on how to set up a proper green screen. If you follow the tips in this video, you'll be doing great green screen effects with ease. Remember to look at the video description. I have an Amazon affiliate link to a perfect green screen setup that includes the backdrop, a stand for it, and 4 soft lights so you can pull off the perfect effect. Also, in the video description, I actually have a link to an exquisite macro lens by Rockinon that's very affordable, and it has very high quality glass. It produces great images. It's actually the lens I use to showcase the difference between a low f-stop versus a high f-stop with my Cards Against Humanity game. So look in the video description and check out those links. And is there anything I missed? Let me know if you have any ideas or any tips and tricks for doing green screens yourself. Put them in the comments. I will respond and let you know what I think. And if you come up with something great, maybe I'll make another video and I'll include your tips and tricks in it if you be so inclined. So thanks for watching. Please like and share the video. Check the links in the description and let me know what you thought. Have a good one.